As I see, I speak, so I create. As I see, I speak, so I create. Thank you very much to You Know Who You Are. That gave me that quote on my way out of the building yesterday, actually, and you gave me so much to think about on my ride home. Um, that was amazing, and I was really, really happy that you did that. Um, Side note, I'm getting a telephone call right now from a former detention resident. So, cool example of people still reaching out. Anyway, as I see, I speak, so I create. And yeah, I started thinking about my own life yesterday after you said that on my way home, and that was so pertinent for me when I was young. You know, when I was homeless and didn't really have anybody or anything, and was just trying to survive day to day, all I could see was what I had to do to make it through the night, what I had to do to get through another day, what I had to do to find my next meal, what I had to do to get a pair of basketball shoes for the season. All those things, I could. That's what I saw. My vision was very, very short. I couldn't see what getting out of that cycle looked like. I couldn't see what the future looked like, because that was what life was. It just had me right here all the time. And I think that's a lot. I think that's the case for a lot of us. We're right here all the time. We're not necessarily thinking about the long term, because it's survival at some point, right? You guys are coming from, some of you are coming from situations where it's survival, and it's day by day. That's what it is. So as you see, that's what you're going to speak, right? And as you speak, that's also what you're going to create, meaning that's going to be the way you talk about yourself, your life, and those things, and eventually that's going to be the life that you build. But if you see farther out, if you see, I went down this path and that didn't work, so now I'm going to try this path, that's giving you the opportunity to now start speaking differently and thinking differently about yourself, ultimately leading you to create the life that you want, that long game life that we're talking about here, rather than just what's in front of you immediately so you can make it through. You got a lot of helps around you guys while you're here, especially. You got staff who are willing to help you kind of expand that vision out here. Some of you have therapists, you got teachers, some of you have coaches outside of here, people who are going to be in your life, and I encourage you definitely to listen to those people, because they're trying to get you out of this and let you see what they've been through, what mistakes they've made, and the hardships that's caused for them, because that's what they saw at that time. That's what they spoke about themselves, and that's what others spoke about them. So that's kind of what happened in their life. I know that's the case for me. I didn't see myself going to college. Definitely not. No way. But you guys, some of you know my story about I was lucky enough to be able to run a football, but I didn't see that necessarily equating to being given an opportunity to go to college. So for me, I didn't speak it. The only thing I spoke was, how I was going to get my next, get through to the next day, get what I needed just to survive for a short period of time. But as that opportunity opened up for me, because I worked for it, I created that because it was spoken enough around me, given the work that I was putting in, that opportunity was created. And then that opportunity led to another world that I could see that was different than the one I was in. It wasn't anymore a world of just, anxiety and stress and not knowing where I'm going to sleep that night and just trying to, figure out minute by minute. It led to now I see, and so I'm speaking different, right? I'm believing different things about myself, and I'm building on momentum, and I'm creating more of that life that I wanted to have. That then transitioned into a career for me. I then saw the opportunity with a college education, and that's not for everybody, and I get it, and that's okay. No, whatever you want to do as far as career-wise and what's fulfilling to you is fine. But for me, college education gave me the opportunity to see a chance to form a career that I could work with kids and families, so they can not have to experience what I had to experience as a young person. And so now I'm speaking differently, right? I'm speaking more ambitiously towards a career and something that's going to fulfill me, give me purpose, give purpose to all of the nonsense that I was put through my early years, and I can use that to create. And that's how I got to you today, is exactly that. As I was now able to see, so I had to really open up my vision, right? That's something I had to consciously do, and sometimes unconsciously it happened too, thankfully, due to abilities that I had. But then I started speaking things differently, and I started believing a little bit more in myself, and that can happen for you too if you're not at that point. But it takes work. It takes you. It takes effort. It takes you believing in you. The only, I say this to people a lot, is that, sometimes we feel like nobody believes in us. But when we say nobody believes in us, that means you don't believe in yourself either. And that can't be. You have to believe in yourself before anybody else. Because if everybody else around you is believing in you and they're working their tails off to try to get you to where you want to be, and you don't have that belief, it's going to die. That dream's going to die. And you have to start seeing yourself differently, speaking about yourself differently, and so you can create differently. This quote, man, I thank you so much. I won't name you by name, but I'm sure somebody will figure it out eventually. But this was yours. This was your input. You came to me and said, Mr. Ryan, I got an idea for a video tomorrow. I love it. I think it's great. It definitely applies to my life. I'm very much guessing that everybody listening, it applies very much to yours as well. But think about that, you guys. See yourself differently. You've been labeled certain things in your life. I know you have, because I was too. And so what happens? Your inner voice, you start talking about yourself differently, and you start kind of defeating yourself before you even give yourself an opportunity. Change that inner voice. Change that inner voice. And that's a challenge, man. Some of us deal with depression and anxiety and all the things. And trauma. Trauma, forms a inner dialogue in your brain, and it takes a lot of effort to defeat it. But if you sit and listen to some of the positives that are going on around you, you start to believe in yourself and start to change the way you talk about yourself and think about yourself. Man, the things you can't create it's unbelievable what you can do. So, as difficult as it may be, even while you're here, I challenge everybody to start doing that. Get out of this zone. Start thinking a little bit more. When I get out of here, you're focused right now on just getting out of here or getting off probation. That's what you're focused on. So you're right here. But once that happens, what are you going to do? What do you want to create? So what do you need to see in order to start speaking that into existence and speaking yourself into different opportunities? You got to get farther out. I encourage you to grab onto the help of everybody that you can along the way. I was resistant to help. I was secretive about what was going on with me. I was too proud. I was too embarrassed. I was too depressed and ashamed and all the things. And I missed out on a lot of good opportunities for people to just grab me and rocket me to where I needed to go. So I hope that doesn't happen for you guys. I hope that a lot. You guys know that. I talk about it often. Because you got a lot of great people here specifically, but also when you go home, back into your schools, back into your communities, you got people there wanting to help you. So see it differently, speak it differently, and you're going to create differently. That's my challenge, man. And thanks again for the quote. And if you guys have input for any videos that you think might be valuable, keep them coming, man. I love this. This stuff, it gets me fired up. So appreciate you guys. One more thing, as I see, I speak, so I create. Cycle breakers, right? That's what we are. That's what we're trying to do. You have to see your life differently than what's come before you. The generations, if they've been negative and they've been full of destructive, harmful behavior, you want to change that, you have to see you differently. And you got to change that inner dialogue. You got to believe in yourself that you can do it. You can be a change. And then you can change the lives of everybody that came after you. That's what being a cycle breaker is, and that's what I believe of each and every one of you guys. So get at it. Cycle breakers. See you later.